Welcome to this special explainer from Salon. We all love the convenience of online shopping, right? A few clicks and a package is on its way. But have you ever stopped to think about what's really happening on the other side of that Buy Now button? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the often hidden struggles of e-commerce merchants. For us, the last quarter of the year, Q4, is amazing. It's a nonstop season of deals. Think Double 11, Black Friday, all the holiday sales. But for the sellers, it's a completely different story. It's an absolute pressure cooker of insane competition and profit margins that are getting thinner and thinner. So to really get to the bottom of what they're going through, we're going to dig into this brand new report. It was just released on January 7th, 2026, and it's packed with data that tells the real story behind the scenes. Now, this isn't just guesswork. This whole investigation comes from the experts over at the Ecommerce Research Center, or ECRC. And the best part? The data is pulled from thousands of real-world complaints filed by actual merchants on a platform called Douyin, which is basically a space for them to resolve these exact kinds of disputes. Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We'll set the scene with a whole peak season madness, then jump straight into the report's data, looking at which platforms are getting the most complaints and what the biggest pain points are. Then we'll wrap it all up with the 3 huge findings from this report and what it all means. All right, first up, let's talk about the other side of peak season. We're going to look at what's really going on behind the shiny facade of all those holiday sales. And to get that real story, we're digging deep into the hard numbers from this new report on merchant hardships. The report kicks things off by answering a really crucial question. Where are merchants running into the most trouble? It actually ranks the platforms. And wow, this chart right here says it all. The problem isn't spread out evenly at all. Just look at this. Douyin e-commerce and Pinduoduo, between the two of them, make up over 72% of all the complaints. That's a massive concentration, telling us the friction is really centered on these huge, fast-growing platforms. Okay, so we know where the trouble is brewing, but what about the why? What are the specific problems that are driving all of these merchants to file complaints in the first place? And this bar chart just lays it out so clearly. You can see things like excessive consumer protection and arbitrary fines, and those are definitely big deals. But come on, one of these things is not like the others. There is one issue that is head and shoulders above everything else. Yep, almost 37%. Let that sink in for a second. More than a third of every single complaint is about one policy: refund only. This is the rule that lets customers get their money back, a lot of times without even needing to send the product back. It was created to make us, the shoppers, feel totally safe. And if you think that number is just an abstract statistic, check out this story from the report. Someone supposedly buys a down jacket, wears it on a 2-week trip, keeps the tag on, and then sends it back for a full refund. And the platform approved it. You can see why the merchant felt this was completely unfair. It feels like the system is being gamed, turning their business into a free rental service. So, when you step back and look at all of this, what's the big picture? The report does a fantastic job of boiling it all down into 3 critical findings. And honestly, these really tell us where the world of e-commerce is headed. So, finding number 1. The battleground has shifted. The conflict is incredibly concentrated. It's not just the old-school e-commerce sites anymore. The explosion of live streaming and social commerce platforms like Douyin has turned them into the new hotbeds for these disputes, probably because their rulebooks haven't caught up to their insane growth. Second big takeaway, that refund-only policy is the absolute epicenter of this earthquake. The very thing that was meant to build trust with us shoppers has, from the seller's point of view, completely backfired. It's now the #1 source of conflict and is creating this deep feeling that the whole system is rigged against them. And finally, finding number 3. When you put all the pieces together, the refund policy, the random fines, the deposits being held hostage, a really clear theme pops up: a massive, perceived power imbalance. Merchants feel like they're just powerless pawns in a game where the platform's rules always favor the consumer. Which leaves us with a really important question to think about. In this race to create the perfect, risk-free, instant gratification shopping experience for us, are we accidentally creating an environment that's totally unfair and maybe even unsustainable for the sellers who make the whole thing work? It's definitely something to chew on the next time you click buy.